What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So the prejudging for the most anticipated host Olympia show of the year Prague Pro, that is finally here. So this show is special for multiple reasons. We have the former Olympia champion Samson who took a big risk by trying to blow up as much as he possibly can within that 2 weeks period post Olympia this year. But at the same time he's gonna try and hold on to that same condition, which is something that is totally new for him, something that he has never done before. Now the other reason this show is very special is because of the men's open bodybuilding debut of the king of 212, Keone, who many believe is the best body in the entire IFBB right now. And he's looking to show up with absolute perfection after a mistimed peak at this past Olympia. And this time he's going through this peak week all by himself and his fiancée. And then we have Martin Fitzwater, who somehow doesn't get the due respect that he 100% deserves after placing top 5 at the Olympia for 2 years in a row, especially this year, with such a deep lineup. And Martin just released this backstage video of him looking absolutely insane. Before you scroll or blink too hard, have you subscribed yet? Please don't make me bring out the emotional blackmail. Hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell icon. It's free, it's painless, and that makes me look way cooler than I actually am. So the first impression, the lighting, as well as the red background, that is looking kind of horrendous. Now this might be because of this camera angle or the live stream here. So the lighting, that is gonna be a big disadvantage to guys like Keone and Samson because of their skin texture. But we will see how it goes. So kind of cool to see Samson and Martin in that same group in that initial call out. And even with that terrible lighting, you can see how freaking ripped Martin Fitzwater really is. I mean the quads on him, they are looking more round and more 3D than they have ever looked before, which is making that X-frame on him look so much more pronounced, and the man is looking so aesthetic. So the first impression about Samson is that he looks way bigger, way more freakier, and at the same time the midsection on him, that is looking very tight. So another good thing that you guys will notice on Samson today is that he's really taking his time executing every single shot, and literally from the first glance you can see that a lot of that lost size that is back, and the conditioning on him that is also looking very impressive. So somehow they managed to balance both things, the size and the sharpness. So this legit looks like a 295 pounds bodybuilder on the stage. Now, is the conditioning on Samson as good as Martin? Well, we're gonna have to wait and see. But we all know Samson with that size, he doesn't have to be 100% in terms of conditioning in order to win this show. But that being said, I must say Martin is looking pretty damn awesome. Probably the best he has ever looked throughout his career. And actually scratch that part about the lighting being bad. I just saw this clip from Tim Budisham, and this was posted by Rap1 IG page. And this footage here, that is actually looking very awesome. So Keone claimed that he will be more or less at that same weight here as he was at the Olympia 2 weeks back, but a lot tighter this time. And his midsection, that does look better and a bit more tighter here. So those first 2 shots on him, they are super impressive. The front double and the front lat. He's round and full and looks extremely confident. So he was definitely one of the most hyped up guy, not just leading into this show, but throughout this year. And the question is, will he live up to the hype? We're gonna have to wait and see till they call out those comparison rounds. So Keone isn't a guy who is going to look like that he's being outweighed by a bodybuilder who is 80 pounds heavier than him when he stands next to a guy like Samson. And that is of course because of his crazy proportions and his insane genetics. Now I don't know whether the lighting here that is favoring Martin or guys like Michael Crizo or not, but he's easily looking the most conditioned guy on this year's Prague Pro stage so far. And at this point, I am very certain that he's gonna be a serious contender to win this show tonight. He surely is in a way better condition than both Samson Dauda and Keone Pearson. And again, a huge thanks to Rep1 IG page for these amazing videos, because we can finally see something here. So just look at the conditioning and the difference between the dryness and the hardness between Samson Dauda and Martin, especially in the hamstrings and the glutes. Martin is peaked to absolute perfection here. I do not think he could have done any better than this. Now Samson has that size advantage, there is no doubt about that. But he's giving way too much space, especially to Martin, with that lack of detail. Now let us take a look at the first call out of this year's Prague Pro. Samson Dauda, Martin, Michael Krizo, Keone, Juan Pradels, and one new guy whom we did not even know about. So Samson and Martin clearly looking in the hunt for the Prague Pro title tonight by staying in the center stage. But the astonishing part is that Keone Pearson, he was kept at the far left of that first call out and he wasn't moved in the middle. So that means he isn't even in the top 3 based on this first call out. And this looks very close between the defending champion Martin and Samson Dauda. And they're both trading some shots here. And again, I must mention here Juan Pradels, proving once again that he's a megastar in the making. The bone structure on this guy, that is simply amazing. And to think, he's only like 25 or 26, standing next to a former Olympia champion, looking so unreal. I must say the future is very bright. So it's a good thing that the judges, they realized their mistake and quickly asked Samson Dauda to get back in line after they mistakenly called him out in that second call out from 6th to 10th. Imagine what would have gone through Samson's mind for those brief 15 to 20 seconds. And then we have the final 5-man call out. So they immediately put Martin Fitzwater in the middle. So if size is what matters in the men's open bodybuilding, then Samson Dauda, he looks like a man among the boys. The size difference between him and the other guys, that is so immense. It is so unbelievable. But the fact is he isn't as tight as Martin. So the body language of Keone, that was totally different on the stage because the judges never gave him a chance, even a single one, to stand in the middle. And he was actually fading as the prejudging went on. So I am pretty sure that Keone isn't even in that top 3 after the prejudging. So the fight, that is between Martin and Samson for that first place and Krizo in 3rd. So it's really apples versus oranges here. Will they prefer a more ripped, more detailed, but a smaller and a more aesthetic guy, who is of course Martin? Or will they choose that big 300 pounds bodybuilder, Samson Dauda, who is a blend of everything? So kind of a tough day for Keone, the open debut that did not go according to the plan. So what do you guys think? Surely everyone must be very impressed with Martin Fitzwater here, as the man was on like anything. And chances are he might win this show. Or on the flip side, did you guys like this look of Samson Dauda over Martin?